We walk past a quick-legged pair of oyster catchers patrolling the margins, and I see a pale rock on the beach that looks different from the rest. I'm drawn to it. It sits next to a toothbrush and a tangle of kelp, half buried in the sand, shaped almost like a duckbill, white and chalky at one end, mottled with dark striations at the other. I bend to pick it up, still wet, and bring it cautiously to my nose, and I smell it. Floating gold. Hey Fragrance family, I'm Daver and I'm a fragrance bro. Welcome to another episode of Daver's Bookshelf. And today I'm reviewing Floating Gold, A Natural and Unnatural History of Ambergris by Christopher Kemp. Now I don't know that much about Christopher Kemp outside of what he said in the book about himself. He hasn't written any other books, so this is his only one right now. So this book has taken me a really long time to read. It took me about a year, and it's not the book's fault. It's a lot of things that happened. Obviously, this is a book about ambergris, about the history, about the culture, about how weird it is, about what it is. What I like about this is, this could have been a science book, could have been just a history book, but he changes it and brings in an element of the quest. So he's going through the story of the book, bringing in his personal experience about how he wants to find ambergris for himself. He finds out how weird this substance is and what it is, and he wants to find some for himself. So through the book, he's looking for ambergris the entire time. He goes all over the world, finds himself in New Zealand of all places, and he's looking for ambergris in New Zealand. Now, many of you probably know where ambergris comes from in general. Ambergris comes from the sperm whale, and I'm not going to go into details about everything that's in the book, but the book was really illuminating to me because I'd always heard that ambergris was whale vomit, and that's not true. Ambergris is actually a byproduct of the intestinal tract of a sperm whale. So in essence, it is poop, kind of, but it's not like a lump of it's not just like normal poop. Otherwise we'd have it all over the place and it wouldn't be valuable or rare. The scientists actually don't know why it happens, but it happens apparently in whales that die, but it has something to do with the stomachs and the intestinal tract of a whale. So the weirdest part about all this obviously is that one of the costliest ingredients in perfume, ambergris, which is about $12,000 a pound, depending on the market, is essentially whale poop. And we love it. And I love it. I've smelled it. I really, really like it. So Kemp writes partially as a scientist, partially as a historian, partially as an autobiographer, and partially as a novelist. And it sounds like that'd be a strange mix, but I think he weaves it in really well. And the story overall comes across really well. I think there are some dry parts in the book, and I think that was one of the reasons why it took me so long to read the book. I have to be honest, sometimes he goes on and on and on about writing about the description of the lay of the land. For instance, like he goes on and on and on about the coastline of New Zealand, and for so long I was like, I've had enough of the coastline of New Zealand, man. And that might be fine in like a C-rated fantasy novel, but not in one of these books. I don't think it really made enough sense. And I found myself towards the end skimming a lot until I found a part that really caught my eye and I could delve into it deeper. And that's a shame because I think the subject matter here is really, really interesting, but at times it comes across a little tedious. So unfortunately, about the 2/3 mark of the book, I put it down for a long time. And I had wondered if I would learn anything new about ambergris after reading 2/3 of the book already. And I was mostly right. I think once you get to the last third of the book, there's not a whole lot of information about ambergris that you haven't already learned in the first 2/3 of the book. Overall, I think it's a good book. I think just get this if you can find it at the library especially, or if you can find it for a really cheap deal on Amazon, snag it. Because I think it's really worth a read just because of how strange ambergris is and how strange the culture around ambergris has become. Overall, I learned a lot about ambergris, and I'm really glad that I read the book. I just think that a lot of it was filler. Even though I appreciate Kemp's work immensely for what he's done for this book, I really think that it could have been tweaked some. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. I think it was a good book, worth a read, but definitely had some weaknesses there. So that's all I have. Have you read this book? Let me know down in the comments down below. Do you like it, love it, hate it? Let me know. And of course, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. I'll love you for it. I'll see you next time with another book review. I'm David with the Fragrance Bros. Bye.